Hey everyone, welcome to Tech Altitude, and this is my iPhone SE 2020 which I bought for myself from the Big Billion Days sale on Flipkart. Now I've talked and made a ton of videos about the trio of budget smartphones, the OnePlus Nord, the Google Pixel 4a and the iPhone SE 2020. Now among these three phones, it's the iPhone SE on which I had my eyes on. My iPhone 7 Plus had got 4 years old now, and it started to develop some problems of its own, well, mostly because of my harsh use, and I wanted the iPhone SE ever since it was announced. Now this was a really good offer starting at 42,000 rupees at the start when it was announced, but specifically it was more tempting when it was announced a discount on the sale of Flipkart. I received the device like 12 hours before I'm shooting this video, so these are my very first impressions on the iPhone SE 2020. Let's start with the design. There's nothing to talk about here really. It's the same old 6-year-old design that has been making its way into 5th generation. Massive bezels at the top and bottom of the display, nowhere like the phones of 2020. There's that nearly perfected home button as well with classic Touch ID. Glass at the back and the Apple logo has been moved down at the center to match with the current lineup of iPhones. The glass at the back enables wireless charging, and overall it's really slim and compact. It's funny how much small it feels when you are used to hold big phones in your hands. Comparing it with my Poco F1, and it's really small. You can absolutely forget about it when it slides into your denim pocket. Onto the display, it's the same 4.7-inch display from iPhone 8. Now comes up with True Tone features where the phone decides the color temperature of the display according to the ambience. Doesn't have the 3D touch, which will be really missed, and doesn't have high refresh rate or any other 2020 things. On some YouTube reviews, almost everyone pointed out that the screen brightness of the iPhone SE is literally weak, especially in the outdoors. Well, I compared the screen brightness of the iPhone SE with my dad's iPhone 7, and I think it's equally bright and it performs equally well. I also compared the screen brightness of the SE 2020 with my Poco F1, which has slightly bigger screen coming at 6.1 inches, and the SE 2020 display actually beats the Poco's display in the brightness. One more thing to add on is the speakers on the iPhone SE is definitely better than the speakers on the iPhone 7 Plus that I previously owned. They are more loud and bass heavy. When you turn up the volume really high on the iPhone SE, the phone literally vibrates on its body, and the speakers are generally just more touch bit better than the iPhone 7 Plus. Coming over to the single camera at the back. Okay, so Apple doesn't declare which kind of sensor it is using on the iPhone SE. Either it is from the iPhone XR or from the iPhone 8. But generally speaking, by trying out or testing out this camera outdoors, it's definitely better than my iPhone 7 Plus. It just takes great photos in good lighting conditions. If you have previously owned any other iPhones before, you know what I'm talking about. It's the classic iPhone's camera quality that you'll get from the iPhone SE. Well, it doesn't have the night mode which every current generation iPhone has. Using the iPhone SE over the iPhone 7 Plus, I'm amazed how much the portrait modes have improved on the current generation iPhones. Especially when now it doesn't even need an additional camera at the back for depth sensing. The front-facing portraits are good as well. Now I'm not really into selfies, but there is nothing really here to complain about. Even though I haven't seen the Pixel's camera performing in hand, I can still definitely say that the Pixel's camera will be slightly better than this one. But where the iPhone SE outshines is videos. Now iPhones are generally great for shooting videos, and it can do video recording for up to 4K 60 FPS. That too, combined with the optical image stabilization, the iPhone SE actually punches up in video quality than its price bracket. Now let's come to the processor. Now this has the same processor from the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11. It's the A13 Bionic, and it was the fastest mobile processor from last year. And as expected, the A13 Bionic sets the iPhone SE flying. There's no lag whatsoever anywhere in the phone. The A13 Bionic is actually very overpowered for the phone, especially when it's pushing out really low pixels on that 720p display. And in general, the gaming performance is really good as well, but I don't really recommend to play high-end games on such a small screen. The battery is really small on the iPhone SE as well. Now it's the same battery from the iPhone 8, that is less than 2000 mAh. But iOS is still better in standby times, and the new processor, the A13 Bionic, is actually great in managing battery. But I can't really tell you how it performs throughout the day. I haven't really used it yet. One more thing to add on is it heats up really quickly. Give it a slightly heavier task and the temperatures are up. Now part of it is because of the A13 Bionic chip that is at the back of the phone. But the A13 Bionic will surely keep the iPhone SE running for more than 3 years with the support of future iOS update. Other than that, still has the IP67 water resistance. It has dual SIM feature, it is an iPhone, so it will do everything that the more expensive iPhones do, but at a cheaper price. I'll be honest with you guys, other than the display and the design of this phone, there's nothing really to complain about here. And sure, it doesn't have the Face ID, it doesn't have the thin bezels, it doesn't have high refresh rate display and everything that the 2020 phone has, but costing at 26,000 rupees on Flipkart and still can do everything, pretty much everything that the highly priced iPhones can do, the iPhone SE does look like a better choice. Now I'll tell you how I got the iPhone SE in almost 17,000 rupees. Now starting with the base price of the iPhone SE on Flipkart that was on discount, it was 26,000 rupees. I exchanged my older phone, the iPhone 7, and I got almost 9,000 rupees from it. Add up delivery charges 100 rupees and subtract SBI's discount, that is 1,250 rupees, and the grand total is 16,800 rupees for the iPhone SE 2020. And for 17,000 rupees, it's not a bad deal, especially now when it can keep up for more than 3 years. And finally, I got rid of my 4-year-old iPhone 7 Plus that was piling up with a ton of problems. And I got a phone that has better cameras, better processing power and better features at 17,000 rupees, and it can do almost everything that the older phone did with just a smaller screen. And I'm okay with the small screen on the iPhone SE actually. So yeah, I guess that's it with the initial impressions of the iPhone SE 2020, and that's how I got this phone in under 17,000 rupees. Now I'll definitely make a full review of the iPhone SE 2020, but for that I think I should also get my hands on to other two phones, that's the OnePlus Nord and the Pixel 4a. And with that, I'll give my final verdict on this phone. So what did you guys buy in the sale? Do let me know in the comment section below. Yes, I tried to buy the LG G8X in the sale, and I'll be honest with you, I got it in my cart, but it slipped away from me while making the payment. So yeah, things happen. So if any of you have got the LG G8X, I think you should flex your skills in the comment section below. Do let me know if you got the LG G8X. So that's been it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.